Hello, welcome back to DriveDriverDriven. I'm Humble, and we're going to be back on the Zero today. I was able to take it out after our last video and give it a first little test rip on the street. I had to do a little bit of troubleshooting, some back and forth, trying to figure out the base map and some timing, but I was able to go on a short little run, and I'll toss that in here real quick. Now, what I'll say about that first little test drive is it sounds amazing. Like, the sound out of the ITBs is more than intoxicating. I thought the GT3 was going to get me in trouble, but the Zero making those noises, once it's up to snuff, is going to be hard to beat. Speaking of, obviously the tune isn't 100%. I would say it's barely even 80%. It's hard to pick out because if you are sharp-eyed and you look in the driver's side mirror at the beginning of that little clip, I was right next to a cop and I didn't want to really draw attention to myself. I'm sure I already had his attention. So I took it easy through first and second, and then on third I tried to give it a solid rip and crack the throttle open 100%. And it accelerated for a little bit and then just sort of fell on its face. So a tune is definitely needed, but this is far better than it had been previously. Another thing that I did like is I just did a couple of test blip downshifts, and it is incredibly responsive. The engine only has an 8-pound flywheel, and the whole clutch assembly I think is less than 14 pounds. So that being said, when you get off the gas, when you're engine braking, it's almost like hitting the brakes. It decelerates very aggressively, and then likewise when you get on the throttle or you blip the throttle, it's immediately responsive. So I can't wait till we have that dialed in with the tune. I'm not sure if we're going to be able to do much about partial throttle drivability. That's not really the realm of ITBs. They're very much a light switch. They're either on or off. So we'll see what we can do about that. So now with the car back in the garage, what's left is basically fiddly bits, little things here and there that I need to take care of while I have a chance and before I hit the road again and I'm off for work. So let me show you what I'm going to try and do today. All right, so on the Zero, there's a couple of things that I need to do just maintenance-wise. Like, these are some of the cracks from our wheel dolly mishap. What I need to do is drill out these stress leaders and just put a hole at the end of it so that they don't propagate anymore. There's another one down here. Same thing. I just need to put a hole at the end of this so it's not propagating anymore. And then probably just do something cheeky like cover it with a sticker. It'll be our little secret. I think there was one on the other side here. Yeah, right down there. Same thing. I will probably replace these fenders just to have something nice and new, but that's down the line. Another thing I want to try and take care of today is, you notice the rear case stays aren't bolted to anything, and well, that's actually true with the bolts in it. Underneath this panel is nothing. It's kind of hard to see, but there's nothing under there. It's just aluminum. So because it's just this thin aluminum panel, if you rest on this or if you push on it, it'll just buckle. It'll just fold. I've already made the mistake of sitting on it, and it's kind of sagging a little bit because of that. Because again, these are rear cage stays. I thought they were, or down bars, whatever you want to call them. I thought these were more rigid. They're not. They're just there for looks. I got this piece of angle, and what we're going to do is just tuck it up underneath here, which will give some rigidity to this. It'll give some rigidity underneath these, so that if some idiot like me sits on this again, it's not going to just straight up fold again. And it'll offer a little bit more strength than just this thin aluminum panel has. Lastly, what we need to do is to relocate the license plate light and where the license plate mounts. So if we look, if I put a plate in place, it'll work for a Euro plate, but it won't work for a US plate. The plate itself hangs down too low, and there's actually a diffuser that will interfere with that is not on the car currently. So what we need to do is raise this up, and then I want to take a couple of riv nuts and place them where the mounting holes would be for the plate to secure that nice to the back of the car. One issue that's common with people who do this project is right behind this panel, right underneath this carpet, as we saw from a previous video, is our fuel tank. And people who aren't paying attention will drill right through this panel and right into the fuel tank. So I'm going to drop a piece of sheet metal in between the body here and the fuel tank, so we don't accidentally do the same. So first up, what I'm going to do is start on these bits here, get this piece of angle aluminum clamped up into place, and we'll start by getting those drilled out and then get that piece bolted in. Alright, got these rear cage stays or down bars in, nice and solidly mounted. You can see this is our additional piece of angle that's just providing support for this middle section here. That's actually quite a bit stronger than I thought it would be, which should be good enough for me to just sit on this now. But you also saw me add these in. And what these are for is for this rear bikini cover for the Zero. This is for the rear kind of down ties, or the rear ties This section here goes over the roll bar, and then if I flip it over, the section on the front here actually goes around the windshield. And then it nicely rolls up, and there's a little bag that ties it all together, and you could just drop it into the trunk when you want to ride open air. So that's kind of good insurance to have for rainy days. You're not going to stay perfectly dry, but kind of mostly dry-ish, sort of, maybe. You won't be directly rained on, but you'll still collect a lot of water from this side. So between that and the half doors that I showed you before, it's kind of a weather kit-ish type of deal. Yeah, so a couple more things. Need some buttons on the side and some buttons installed on the window frame or windshield frame, and then that just secures everything to the car. So yeah, so this is done now. It's nice and sturdy. As you can see, it supports my fat ass, and yeah, actually it's really nice and sturdy. So next up is, I'll pull the carpet up here so we can see what we're trying to avoid. Notice how I'm not putting anything on the wing except for my phone, damn it. Okay, so back here, another project, maybe for a different time, not right now, is I need to trim out just a little semicircle here for these hoses to clear. Not up for that today, but probably when I get back. But as I was mentioning before, there's this little gap here, and then you can see just below this carpet, which is the two bolts that hold this assembly on. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this off and lay some tape down, and then I'm going to use the bottom edge here as a reference point. Doesn't matter if it's level. This is more important about how it looks to the eye. So whether or not this is level to the ground, this is what your eye is going to try and level with the plate. So from here, I'm going to measure up to make sure we have room for the plate, and then a little bit extra room for like license plate frames or anything that might go around it, and then have this light sit a little bit higher so that it clears the top of the plate and everything like that. And then re-drill the holes for our light, drill the holes for our plate, and then put nut certs in to get everything secure. But first off, we have to undo this, take the wires out, and then start measuring. So I'll get the time lapse going again, and we'll get that going. All right, so there you have it. The relocated plate and license plate light assembly. Doesn't look too bad if we stand back. It's got nice and centered. Everything's pretty straight. It's not crooked or anything. And then, like I said, when I get the rear diffuser on, it'll stick out here a little bit. And got my temp reg back on the plate so it's easier to see. Just turned another plate on there. Felt it was appropriate to put my Hoonigan stuff on there. Rip Ken block inspiration here. It's a many. As you can see back in here, this area where the wiring harness passes through is now a little bit higher. There was that plate you could see in the video that prevents you from drilling into the tank, so no worries there. And then likewise, as you can see, it's not leaking fuel or anything, so all good there. Next up, as I mentioned, we will trim this cover plate just to make room for the fuel lines. And there's one more thing that needs to be done, which is up here in the engine bay, and that is to make a cover for the pedal box. And I think I'll save that for next time. So I think that's going to do it for now. We're really on the last little fiddly bits. I mentioned before, I've got a dyno day scheduled basically right when I come back from Sydney. I'll be in Sydney next week, probably as you see this, or the current week as you see this. And I have a dyno day scheduled for the following Monday when I get back, which I'll be probably jet lagged, but I'm excited to get the car on the dyno, to get it tuned, and try and improve some of the light or partial throttle drivability, if possible. We'll see. But yeah, once that's done, I do have my SB100 paperwork, and so after the tune, the only things left are a real proper alignment and to go and get the final ref inspection for the car. And for that, I think I do need that cover plate for the pedal box. So that being said, look forward to those last little bits maybe on next video, and I'll see you guys next time.